Welcome to the ET322 how-to video for the Op Amp Lab 1, and we're going to build it in Multisim. Okay, let's build our Op Amp Lab in Multisim. And let's start off with sources, power. We're going to need a ground, or several of them. And we're going to need a VCC and a VEE, and we're going to need some resistors, we're going to need a 24K and a 100K. We're going to need a 1K. And actually I need an op amp. Analog op amp, standard 741. And we need plus 12. And minus 12. Okay, and let's go ahead and get a power source. We don't need the diodes or the potentiometer because we're going to use, let's make it VSS. And he's going to be 700 millivolts. Small m. And that looks good. So let's move it into the middle. And let's zoom area. All right, let's assemble it. So we need the minus on top, so let's flip this vertically. So this is the typical position that we use. And let's go ahead and let's put the minus voltage on the top because this 4 is the minus. We're going to flip this one vertically. Go ahead and stab it into pin 7. And let's stab that into 4 for a minus, and we're going to have a 1K as our, put him back where it should be. Okay. And we need our 24 going into our inverting input. And we're going to need our 100K as our feedback resistor. And let's have our VSS, and being this is a non-inverting amplifier, we're going to put our input voltage into there, and we're going to have our non-inverting input grounded. That looks good. Okay, let's modify our master for part 2. So we're going to get rid of our DC supply, and we're going to go back to sources. Signal sources, get an AC voltage, and that should be good. Let's grab a ground. get rid of our DC meter we no longer need. And this guy should be 1 volt peak to peak. Alright, since it's 1 volt peak, we'll make it 0.5 peak to peak. And 1 kilohertz, we're going to make it 5 kilohertz. Okay. And let's go ahead and grab a oscilloscope. Good. Okay, I'll open up my master again. So this guy's actually, we want 1 volt this time. And we need to move this signal. Let's go ahead and get rid of our ground here. We're going to move him over. And he goes there, our input voltage there, and our ground goes on the input. And he's going to be a 5.1, so let's replace him with a 5.1. And this one's going to be replaced with a 10. Okay, we got 1 volt in, and that looks good. Okay, I've opened up our second lab because it already has the AC and our oscilloscope. So let's go ahead and move our power source. Let's get rid of our ground here. And we're going to wait until our little flag is there, and I'm going to drag this to our non-inverting input. And let's just go ahead and flip him vertically. And we're going to ground the non-inverting part. So let's double check we need a 2.2. And we're going to need a 10. And 500 millivolts at 5K. So that's how we do. Let's do 0.5. And that's going to be peak, which is going to be 1 volt peak to peak. So that looks good.